Baselining Concepts in Microsoft Project 2013. One of the first questions you will ask about a Microsoft project plan is, has this project been baselined or not? As you may recall, in our series on navigating a Microsoft project, one of the first questions we have to ask is, are we seeing the right information? So by going back to our navigation concepts, if we were to ask the question of baselining, is it task-based or resource-based, the answer is actually both. Resource information can be baselined and task information can be baselined. In this case, let's choose task-based information. We can look at task-based information without assignments and look at the Gantt chart, which we are looking at the moment. But by looking at the Gantt chart, we can ask the question, am I seeing what I expect to see? In that case, we would want to refer to note number 3. Note number 3 tells us, on the left side of the divider, if we're not seeing the right information, we can apply a table that contains the columns and fields you wish to view, or add the columns, for example, the baseline fields. So there's 5 baseline fields: work, cost, start, finish, and duration. Let's go into Microsoft Project and see if there's a table called baseline. So if I go to the View tab and hit the table drop down, in this case I see a table called baseline. It's not normally in your default list of tables. You might have to go to more tables, and in this case what I've done is, when I edited the baseline table, I chose show in menu. So now by applying this table, I will see the values of the 5 basic baseline fields: duration, start, finish, work, and cost. We can see that these fields have not been initialized, which indicates to us that the Microsoft project plan has not been baselined. The baselining process itself is a process of taking the estimated work, cost, start, finish, and duration and copying it over into the baseline fields. Let's take a look at a sample. In this case, we're going to see a sample of what the baseline looks like before we change it. So we can see here on the left side of this column, we see work, cost, start, finish, and duration. We see some example field contents here. On the right side of the grid, we see the baseline, or the original estimates, and in this case, before the fields are baselined, the work will have 0 hours, the cost will have $0 if we're using dollars as our currency. Start and finish will both be NA or not applicable, and baseline duration will be 0 days. So when we baseline, Microsoft Project copies the current estimates. I like to call these current estimates because work, cost, start, finish, and duration are the things that we typically type into as project managers. These are the values that we change. So when I choose the baseline function, Microsoft Project is going to copy the estimated fields into the original estimate fields, or the baseline fields. In order to do this in Microsoft Project, we would choose the baselining function. In this case, if I click on the project ribbon and I choose set baseline, and if I'm applying the baseline table, I can in fact see what happens. I choose set baseline. I have several options here. I can baseline just some of the tasks. I can select a task but not the summary task. I have interim baselines, and I have the primary baseline and up to 10 other baselines. In this case, let's choose the default of the primary baseline for the entire project and click OK. Now we see that the estimated fields have been copied into the baseline fields. In later videos, we'll talk about how Microsoft Project uses the baseline to generate variances.